Thank you for joining us at Exemplar Global. For today's conversation, we're going to consider interviewing techniques. We'll only look at three aspects of interview techniques: structuring an interview, things to look out for during the interview, and types of questions that you may use to ask. Firstly, let's look at structuring an interview. When you first sit down with your auditee, take a human moment. Find out how long they've been in the role and what their role covers. Have they been experienced with previous audits, or is this their first one? And what is their level of experience? It's important that you have a good understanding of the auditee and their role prior to asking any questions. Next, just explain the process. If an auditee hasn't been through such an interview before, they might be anxious and not sure what's going to happen next. Once you've put the auditee at ease and they understand what's going on, you can go ahead and ask your questions, and we'll talk more about that in the next slide. Once you've asked all of your questions, summarise what the findings were so that the auditee knows that you've heard everything and has that opportunity to correct anything that may not be quite right. Let them know what the next steps are in the audit process, and do remember to say thank you. And here's just a couple of lookouts during that interview process. When you hear jargon or abbreviations, take time to ensure that you both have a common understanding of what that means. Be aware of the fact that if you ask why to an adult, sometimes that forces them to be defensive. There are better ways to structure that, even though what you really mean is why. And just be on the lookout for any signs of anxiety. If the auditee is getting super stressed, you may be better to take a break and come back to it later, or just explore a little bit as to why they're feeling so uncomfortable. When it comes to questioning, there are many questions, and I'm sure you've covered this already in your audit training. It is nice to mix it up and just be reminded about what those are all for. Open questions are those great broad questions which are designed to draw information out and typically start with something like, "Can you explain?" Once somebody's explained something to you, it's good to follow up with a closed question, because this is how you confirm your understanding. For example, "This means the item is acceptable." The only way to answer that is yes or no. Sometimes you just need a specific piece of data, so you can ask something as simple as, "What time did that happen?" Clarifying questions can either be paraphrasing or repeating back using the auditee's words. It always starts with something along the lines of, "If I understand you correctly," which lets the auditee know you're now about to check with them that you understand what they have explained to you. And sometimes you do need to drill a little bit deeper and seek some more information. There's many ways you can open those questions, and one of my favourites is, "I'm curious. Can you help me to understand?" It's a great way to start because it's non-threatening, and most people really do want to help you. In summary, interviewing techniques really just come down to a well-structured interview with a genuine interest in what the auditee has to say, and remembering that you are actually dealing with another human being. If you'd like to learn more about interview techniques and how Exemplar Global can support you in your entire career as an auditor, please contact us at Exemplar Global, and do join the Exemplar Link community on exemplarlink.org.